Hi, I'm Joyce Harper, and I want to welcome you to season 4 of my podcast, Why Didn't Anyone Tell Me This? Together with expert guests and those with lived experiences, we will give you some tools to empower you to live a life of good health and happiness. Today, I'm speaking to Amber Lort-Phillips about the Big Retreat Festival. This is one of my favourite festivals. It's a 4-day wellbeing and adventure festival set in the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park. And Amber first set this up in 2018. And what's brilliant about this festival and what you're going to hear about in this podcast is ways that we can use various practices to help our well-being, to relax, to reset, to rest. I think all of us need to do that. And with the Big Retreat Festival, Amber has included, I think it's about 300 events that cover so many different ways for us to do exactly that and ways to look after our mental health. So I think you're going to really find something in this podcast to help you think about ways to look after your mental health. And hopefully we'll see you at the Big Retreat Festival. Enjoy. Welcome, Amber.
Hi, Joyce.
So I'm really looking forward to our discussion today because I love festivals and I really love the Big Retreat Festival. So, Amber, let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and why you set up the Big Retreat Festival?
Yeah, well, I've always been into wellbeing and fitness. I'm a qualified advanced Pilates instructor, qualified personal trainer, and then I had a gym for many years. And then when I sold the gym, when I had my little one, I started running retreats. So it started off with a small retreat, and then the results were unbelievable. I remember meeting a lady who'd come to one of our retreats and she hadn't slept for 7 years. And that night she slept for the first time. And it was just incredible. And just the connections that you make at retreats are just amazing. So I was talking to a friend of mine who later became the co-founder. And I said, I just want to do a big retreat. I want this, to be accessible to everybody. So I spoke to my father-in-law who had an amazing farm. And we said, look, is there any chance we could run a festival on the castle site? And it started from there. So we started with about 250 people, and now we're up to 5,000 this year. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey. And it was that sort of gap in the market as well, because I love wellbeing, but I also love music and I love having a great time. And I also sometimes felt that sometimes when you go to retreats, they're quite prescriptive and they sort of tell you what to do. And I don't want to tell anyone what to do. I want people just to discover things, enjoy life. So it's kind of like a hybrid between I love festivals, but I also love wellbeing. So we kind of like merged the two, and then we came up with a big retreat.
Fantastic. Definitely my formula for a brilliant weekend in the summer. Now, we're going to dig deeper into what makes the Big Retreat Festival so unique. But first of all, tell us what it is. So why is it so different to other festivals and retreats?
I think it's a retreat with a festival atmosphere. So you don't have to be a yogic, you don't have to be fit, you don't have to be into wellness. You can come for the music, you can come for the food, you can come for the talks, or you can just come for the connection, just to meet people. So it's curated, but it's not prescriptive. So you choose your own experience, and it's deeply community led, and that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And one thing, so we're going to talk about this in a minute, but we've done a bit of research together last year. When I
Yeah.
first met you, we were talking about me coming to the festival and doing some various events with you. But then at the end of the conversation, you said to me, I really want to do some research and find out what people are really feeling at the festival. So that's what we've done. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but one of the biggest things that I really took from the analysis of the data was that it is a weekend when there is so many different things where normally you go to a
Yeah.
yoga retreat, or I run a wild swim and yoga retreat where you go to a meditation retreat or a silent retreat. But at the Big Retreat Festival, you have gathered together so many different well-being practices that I just think that's what's so unique. You can come there and try things that you've never tried before, or do the things that you always loved doing, but you want to try it again. with different instructors and teachers. So I think that's what's really amazing. So can you tell us about the different areas of the festival and how you've done that?
Yeah, so I suppose our sort of the one that started it all was the soul space. So it's a very sort of grounding space. There's yoga, meditation, gong baths, breath work. It's a kind of place that really helps to regulate your nervous system, and it brings calm. So we kind of started with that space, and then there was the fitness field. They both sort because that was my background, I guess, was the sort of Pilates side and then the fitness. So the fitness field is full of hundreds of fitness classes. And again, it's that whole thing when you're instructing, I was constantly doing new courses. So whether it was Zumba or it was kettlesize or whatever the latest thing. And I love all those different types of exercises. And it's great if somebody just comes in and just picks that one thing, so rather than being all Zumba, not everybody's going to like Zumba, not everyone likes kettlesize, not everyone likes HIIT. But if somebody just finds one little thing that makes their life better, then I feel like we've done our job. So I have to get loads of different things all in one space so people can pick and choose. So that was the yoga space, and then the fitness. And then obviously we've got the live music. That's really important as well for people having that space to just dance like nobody's watching. Then we've got our talks and panels. So that was to sort of normalise conversations about menopause, neurodiversity, stress, resilience. So we wanted people to just make sure they didn't feel alone, and that there's lots of people going through lots of different things. And so I think that really benefits people, and that's what's so powerful about that space. The chef's kitchen, again, we do anything from learning about food if you've got allergies or if you've got diabetes, but also we do wine tasting and gin tasting because it's a feel-good festival. So for me, those things are included in that whole thing. Then the Woodland Spa. It's an amazing space. You can just go there. It's a slower place, treatments. It's a place to restore, get quiet. So not everything is that kind of whole high energy. Arts and crafts. So our mind space is all about trying something new, a new craft, a new hobby. So you can go and do lino printing or spoon carving or paint somebody else's portrait opposite you and just have a good giggle. So you don't have to be good at arts and craft. It's just about switching that mind off. So then there's that amazing space. The Feel Good Field is quite a new space over the last few years, and that's just got so popular. It's unbelievable. So that space is all about pure joy, connection, dancing, drumming, laughter, yoga, men's circles, women's circles, social meetups. We have great talks about sex, don't we, Joyce?
Yes.
About the benefits of orgasms.
That was me, in case anyone didn't realise.
It's a real space for expression and connection. Within that space, we've got our Magic Teapot, which is a lovely acoustic venue, and it goes late into the night where you can just sing. It only serves tea, so the main bar closes at 12, but you can go in there afterwards and sing to your heart's content, which I think is just an incredible space of joy. And then Darwin's Den is about looking after the planet. It's storytelling, growth, big conversations, gives people a perspective and often language for things that they've been feeling but maybe can't articulate. So that's another sort of, it's a lovely space. We learn about the planet, about looking after, how we can look after the planet better, how we can look after ourselves better. Like we have lots of adventurers in that space as well, and they can tell their inspiring stories. So there's a whole host of things you can try.
It's just so amazing. So my one complaint is that I just didn't have enough time to go to everything.
That's why you have to go twice a year. That's why I'm doing Cambridge.
So we're gonna come on to Cambridge in a minute. So and I wanted to pick up on one thing, which was alcohol. So we've talked about this, and I totally agree with you. You said you don't want to be prescriptive. You want to put everything on the table and let people decide how they want to spend their time and what they want to try out. And I totally agree with that. I'm not a huge drinker, but I don't think a retreat needs to be non-alcohol. So our retreat, we're in France, so we go to vineyards and do some wine tasting. And I've had some comments about that. Oh, you have wine at your retreat. Yeah, why do you have to not do things? For me, you've said the word already. A retreat for me is things that bring you joy and help you reset and relax. So it's, as you said, it's going to be totally different for different people. And I think what you've done here is so unique and so brilliant. I think everyone will find something that they enjoy, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think it's for me, it's really important. It's a space of non-judgment. You just don't judge people. Everyone's going through different things in their lives at different times, and I don't think it's up to anyone to judge anyone else. If somebody wants to have a drink, or if they don't want to have a drink, that's all fine. If somebody wants to eat meat and somebody doesn't want to eat meat, let's not judge that. Let's just be kind. And I think I have a real thing about kindness. It's like being kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to the planet, and just let people be themselves. What we're constantly in the wellbeing industry told what to do, and it drives me crackers, to be honest. Just let people be. Everyone will find their own space. Everyone finds their own sort of flow into what they want to do, and it's people's capacity. What have you got capacity for right now? So yeah, I think non-judgmental is huge for me.
So, Amber, when did you start the festival?
So we started back in 2018.
And tell us a bit about where it is.
So we are right in the Pembrokeshire Coast National Park, which is one of the most stunning locations you'll probably ever come across. And we are on the old castle site in Loreni, where there used to be a beautiful big castle. It's obviously no longer. You can still see some of the remnants and the stonework, and there's some old pathways. And it's honestly one of the most magical places I think you can ever go to. And I think you go there. I always remember actually once this little boy thought it was a painting. He thought the view was a painting because it was just so stunning. And it was just one of those real magical moments. You just think, oh wow, he thought that you couldn't have a view like that it had to be a painting. Because it is stunning. You kind of like look out when you sit on the castle terrace and you look out over the view, and you've got the estuary in front of you, and you can sometimes see Kerry Castle in the distance. It's just beautiful, and that's like massive horizon of like opportunity, isn't it? When you go there, it's a little reminder, I think, about huge horizons.
People that know me know I love big skies. Having been brought up in London and lived in London most of my life, I just love a big sky. And I did spend
Yeah.
every evening having just a little quiet time at the festival on my own, just sitting looking at the water. It was so so forgetting everything else,
Mm.
just actually sitting there would have been happy.
Yeah, it's all you need to do. Some people just come and just sit, Some people will do like a million yoga classes. Some people will just grab their book and just sit and absorb the view and absorb nature and, reconnect back again. It's lovely.
Now, so since 2018, you've obviously run it for quite a few years now. So
Mm.
what had you learned from watching people who were coming year after year?
I think the biggest thing is like the transformation doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's just someone dancing for the first time in years. I always remember this lovely lady in her slippers. I think she was a local lady that had just come up from the village, and she was just stood in her slippers, giving it loudly to Gokwan, and you're like, oh wow, that is just amazing. She was absolutely loving it. And sometimes it's just someone making a new friend, or sometimes somebody just saying, oh, I finally feel myself again. It's just giving people that space to find themselves again. Sometimes people come alone and then they leave with a whole host of friends, which is great. And they come back the following year. We've got a really high rebooking rate because people just meet at the festival and then they all come back again the next year. It's fab.
And
So yeah,
how
it never gets old.
no, and how do you want people to feel after they've attended the festival when they go home? That's the important part, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I want them to feel reconnected. I want them to be inspired, rejuvenated. I want them to feel lighter, empowered. That if they, I think my big thing is if somebody picks up one little thing from the festival that makes their life better, I feel like I've done my job. So yeah, when they go home, that one little thing.
And this
So it's about a
podcast,
reset.
a reset, reset's a great word. And this podcast is
Yeah.
the last of my mini series about ways to improve our mental health. And I know how I felt being at the festival. Do you feel that people attending the festival have improved mental health after coming? And we can talk about the actual data from the survey in a minute. But before we even did the survey, did you think that was something that was going to be high on their agenda?
Yeah, I did. I think, we've had emails and letters from people saying that it's been transformational for them. So, that's really emotional when you get these letters afterwards, just saying, actually, this has completely changed my life on a mental health perspective. And I don't think it's just one single thing at the festival. I think it's the combination of nature, movement, the music, the community, learning something new. You get time to rest, just in all this like immersive experience, and it just, something shifts for people. And sometimes I can't quite explain it, but the emails, honestly, that we get after the festival, they always make me cry because it's just so powerful.
That is absolutely brilliant. So this is why when we first ever talked together, you said, right, I want to, you've had all these anecdotes from people, those emails and things, but you wanted to
Yeah,
actually do a bit of proper research. So this is what we did. You and I designed a survey to ask people
yeah,
attending the festival, so to fill in out just after they finished being at the festival last summer. We asked them about their physical and mental health, how it was before the festival, how they felt it either improved or decreased at the festival. Um,
yeah.
and as well as that, we asked them about stress levels and about the levels of happiness. So, of those, what did you feel was the most important findings of their reports on their physical and mental health?
I think the mental health obviously was incredibly strong. Um, and actually finding out, like, it's the festival setting itself, it is the nature, it's the community, it's the atmosphere, was one of the biggest contributors. So it's not just about the sessions and everything that we put together, it's also the environment. I think that was a big thing that came out of it, and the connection to nature. It's about doing all these wonderful things in an amazing setting. I think that was the sort of kind of amazing finding out of all of it. And much stronger than the physical ones. So the mental element was much stronger than sort of the physical benefits from coming to the festival.
Yeah, I didn't predict that. I never realized how much. So the mental health, as you said, was way out there. And the
Mm,
quotes, we've now got thousands of beautiful
yeah,
quotes from people saying how this was so important to them. And while we were analyzing all this data and collecting it, I was writing my book,
yeah,
which is all about everything that you've said. I just think all of the things you've got this festival are so important, and time in nature, as you said, just if they just came and just sat and
did
relaxed.
nothing.
That,
Yeah.
which yeah, I never quite had enough time to do it as much as I would have. I'm going to work on that this year. But the other the spaces that I didn't realize would come out top, actually. So I obviously knew the yoga and soul space. So as you said, it was everything in there is about resetting
Mm,
and relaxing, and that space is the recipe for most retreats. Most retreats are doing all those sorts of tai chi and yoga, etc.,
yeah.
etc. But for me, I was really pleased because I did appear, so as you said, talking about orgasms and why sex is so good for us in the feel good field. And I did go to most events in there. I did some ecstatic dancing, we did some drumming, and it was just such an amazing space. But I didn't realize until we analyzed the survey that really came out top, or in the top
Yeah.
three, in a number of the questions that we asked them. So have you any thoughts of why you think some of the really varied events that you have put in that area, and you said this is quite a new area, why do you think that was
Mm.
so important? Was it because they were all quite new things that maybe people haven't done so obviously in their life, and that they're coming to experience something new and exciting?
I think people are more open to try things in a festival environment. So I think that's maybe why people were keen to try things, or they're more open to try things. Andy, who puts that space together, is amazing.
Yeah.
He curates that space with so much thought and passion. I think he's just created an amazing space with some incredible facilitators that have got so much to offer, and they are offering things that we don't normally see at festivals, or not ones that I've been to before. And I think, that point of being open to try stuff or curious. I think a lot of people that come to Big Treat are curious people, and they're happy to try things. They want to try new things. So yeah, I'm starting to realize a lot of people that come to Big Retreat are curious. They're probably a bit like me in some, they just want to learn something new. They're curious about different topics, intrigued by certain conversations, and open to the expressive dancing and things like that. I didn't think that would be that popular, but people love it. And I think they're just given that opportunity to feel free, dance around like a loon. Nobody's going to judge them. And I think that is definitely Big Retreat. It's like we are not judging people. We are not going to stand there and look at somebody that's having a fantastic time, throwing their body around and thinking anything different about it. It's just great. It's amazing to see people truly relax. And I think in that space, Andy's created a very special space where people can truly relax. They can open up. They can have amazing conversations that maybe they might not have had before. So yeah, I think it's the space. I think it's a real lovely area at the festival. It's hidden in the woodland. It's like a massive cutch, like all surrounded by willow and trees, which I think is quite lovely. It's a very, it feels nice, that space. So yeah, a number of things I think with that one. What do you think about it? What were because you were in there a lot.
Yeah, I was. And I think the name is just brilliant. Feel good field. I mean, it did. But I think the other word I would say was safe. It was a safe space.
Yeah.
And we had some sessions that were pretty emotional. They were, as you said, people trying things that were a little bit more out of the box that they might not have tried at home and might not have had the courage to go to on their own in somewhere. But here it was a safe space. So if you wanted to try drumming or ecstatic dancing or the didgeridoo or whatever, you had time. And you felt held, so you could absolutely go and have a go, knowing that probably if most people in there hadn't done it before, and they were there were tears in some of them. In one of the drumming workshops, I've done a lot of drumming. I've done a podcast with my drumming mentor, Sophie Messenger, and we're about to do, actually following on from the work we've done. I'm just about to put in the ethics actually this week for a survey asking specifically women who do drumming, any type of drumming, how it makes them feel. So very, very similar to our research as well. So it's a brilliant thing that's come out of us doing this. But I know that because I've done it quite a lot, I know that it can bring up a lot of emotion and people can cry.
Yeah.
So there was some women who had come to my orgasm talk who I'd already had conversations with, and one of them broke down. And I felt good that I could go and reassure her and say, look, this is totally natural. It happens. It just brings things up. So there were lots of events in there that can really stir things in people and bring things up. And it was a safe space. There were really people around who you knew could look after you and support you through that. So I think that's what makes that area. It's just such a relaxing area. And then we've got the magic teapot near, which I love.
That's amazing.
I wanted to spend more time in there. Oh my goodness me. That was just, it was so quirky and again, so relaxing. And yeah, I spent almost the whole time going around on my own at the festival last year. And I absolutely loved it. And it was just fantastic. But that they were just two very special spaces where you could go alone and experience something new and come away with a big smile on your face.
Yeah, I think 20% of our audience actually are solo travelers. So it clearly does feel like a very safe space for solo travellers to come to. You can go to different activities and then you'll meet somebody, or if you don't want to talk, you can either just listen or you can join a conversation. But it is, I think, because there's so many different activities, it's quite nice as a solo traveller because you can just potter into each different one, and if you don't like it, you can. I think the other thing is, so much of it is included in your ticket price that if something's not quite right for you, you don't feel like, oh god, I've got to stay because I've paid for this. You can like potter into something else, and I think that's one of the things about a big retreat, is not trying to do everything. It's just relaxing into it and just seeing what pops up. You might walk past a talk and think, oh, that's interesting, I'm going to go and pop in there, or see a workshop that you fancy dropping into, whether it's a portrait painting or you're doing mandalas, or you're making, I don't know, writing some journaling workshop or whatever. You can just pop in and out of things, which I think is really helps people feel comfortable and relaxed. Yes, we do have, added extra add-ons if you want to pay for extra things, but there is a huge amount included in your ticket. We have over 300 activities included in the ticket. So it gives people that opportunity to try different things and discover something new, which I think is really important.
Yeah, that sense of community really came up. And for me, I was absolutely very, very comfortable walking around on my own. So yes, anyone that's thinking about coming solo, you will feel so held at this festival.
Do it.
Oh, absolutely do it. And yeah, 20% of people, as you said, that is really quite amazing. I think that's probably really high for a festival. And yeah, that's a great statistic. And we know from the survey that they felt really great, and they didn't feel uncomfortable at all at the festival, and they could, everyone was talking to everybody. I never had more than a few steps and someone wasn't chatting, or we were having a hug, or whatever, or laughing. There was a lot of laughter. There was tears, but there's stuff. And I think when we're doing these sort of deep practices that do bring up things, there is going to be tears for sure. But we build on that. And so yeah, that sense of community was really, really at the forefront of the comments we got back on the survey as well.
Yeah, and I think we do have Blink Mental Health are always on site. They've got a drop-in tent if somebody is feeling overwhelmed. We've got free therapy sessions. There's 3 therapists always at the festival in the soul space. If you need to go and find somebody, Blink Mental Health are there. So if something does come up, it's really important we've got these people that you can go and talk to. Well, you can talk to anybody, but we've got qualified therapists there if you feel you do need to go and talk to somebody, or a chill out tent if you just feel overwhelmed and just need to go and sit down and have a bit of peace and quiet for a while.
Yeah, a lot of people, some of the things, as I said, they're really deep. So those things are going to come up, but as you said, the support is there. So yeah. It's what I really loved as well was people saying that there was so much they were taking away, and they were actually making life changes, especially actually from being at talks. And they talked about they were going to cook more food, they were going to eat more healthy, and that they'd learned things in the talks that had really given them the education about how they could improve their quality of life, which that made me so happy to read those comments. It was so powerful.
Yeah. I think I know Gwocklin always says, he runs our Chef's Kitchen stage. He always says everybody turns up with their notebook and pencil and pad, and they just write things down, which is lovely, watching people writing all their little notes down and what they've learned in a session, whether it is like the Chef's Kitchen or a talk that they've learned, or one little like light bulb moment sometimes that comes in, and you're just like, oh wow, that's going to make a big difference to that person. It just resonates with them and they've written it down, which is fab.
And I've already mentioned my book, but honestly, I've got the first chapters in the happiness section of my book are about hobbies, which your festival ticks. Loads of hobbies. Creativity.
Yeah.
You've got tick. Sex. We've got that tick. We've got adventures and journeys that change us, tick, travel, tick, tick, tick. Time in nature, tick, quality time alone,
Yeah.
tick, friendships and community. It's all of those things. You've literally, it's the blueprint of my book as well. So I'm so happy that we've been working together, because it's so aligned with what, as I said, I was writing the book as we were looking at the data, and it's just brilliant. So yeah, they can read my book and come to the big retreat, and they'll have so many
Absolutely.
ideas of how to reset, relax. And for me, with the mental health issue, I think we're living in societies now. Our society that we live in is just bonkers. I mean, we are bombarded by information and stuff, and our work life balance has gone out the window. Burnout is just a major problem, and the whole anxiety and overwhelm and stress, and especially for women. Many of the people that filled in the survey were women, which we always get, but there are more women at the festival, and they're. I think. Do
Yeah.
you know the average age? We did look at the survey. I can't remember what it was. I
Yeah,
think it was about
average age
50.
is nearly 40.
Oh, 40 is
It's nearly
it?
4. Yeah, I think with your yeah.
Yes.
There
So
was, I think we had one lady actually, which was lovely, who was 70 last year, and it was her first time ever at a festival, first time
wow.
camping. She bought a tent, she put it up herself, and she had an amazing time. She came on her own. Fucking amazing.
Oh,
Just like that is so cool.
that is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah. So we definitely had a lot of women. Again, my book's aimed at the woman over 50. There was a lot of women there who
Yeah.
were there to take on ideas about how they can improve their joyful years. So it's just a win-win-win. But obviously the guys, and obviously in Wales you have families. But I wanted to talk now a little bit about
Yeah.
Cambridge. So this year is the first year you're going to do Cambridge, and it is over 18s only. So tell us about Cambridge,
Yeah.
why you wanted to do it, and how you decided where to do it.
I think that there was a demand for people that can't travel to Wales. It is far. We are in the arse end of nowhere.
Yeah.
In Pembrokeshire. It takes quite a long time to get here, which is why we do it on the bank holiday Monday, because it is a long drive to get here for a lot of people. So we wanted to be more accessible to a lot more people. And I think it's the same as that first time when we started doing small retreats and I wanted to do it for more people. We've kind of got to the point in Pembrokeshire where this needs to be available for more people. We need to do it in more locations. So we are looking at quite a few different locations now to expand again in 2027, which is amazing. But yeah, Cambridge, we picked Abbot Ripton, which is the old site of Secret Garden Party. And I think anybody that's been to that festival will understand how special that site is. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got a really magic feel when you go there. The team are amazing. They have such a lovely team that run the event side, and they have been so welcoming, so helpful, very inclusive, and I think there was a number of reasons we picked that space. A lot to do with how beautiful this site is, and the team that are behind it as well. The people that run the estate are just phenomenal and really unbelievably supportive. So yeah, and it's close to London. Lots of people can get there. I think about 1 million people drive past the estate every week. It's a huge footfall of people that can get to that festival.
And something important to say, which I've only just double checked today, because one of my friends asked me. So there are day tickets for Cambridge, aren't there? Do you have day tickets for Wales?
We do have day tickets for Wales, but they're not as, I think even now we've seen that Cambridgeshire has been more popular for day tickets. Although I have to say the point of the big retreat is to come and immerse yourself in the whole experience. But yeah, I guess it's easier for people to come for the day in Cambridgeshire. So if you can't commit to that full weekend, you can still experience it for a day. And I guess, if you're there from 7:00 in the morning till midnight, you'll get a damn good experience. You'll get to experience the full big retreat, ethos, I guess, in that full day.
I do know. I mean, as I said, I'm a big festival goer. I've always gone to festivals since I was a teenager. I've it's my thing. I do about seven. It's normally about 7 or 8 a year. But I know when I say that, there are some people that just don't. They don't want to camp. They don't want, they just don't
Yeah.
like that whole thing. So I do think that a day ticket, as you say, they're not going to be fully immersed, but they are going to get exposure to some new events and practices that they would
Yeah.
never have done before. Which so I think next year in Cambridge, you'll see a lot of those people that came for the day will say, "Oh, I want more of that. I'm going to come back."
Yeah, I'll come for the next day. And I think that a lot of people, because we have got an older demographic at the festival, so actually even in Pembrokeshire, some people will stay in local bed and breakfast and they just come in every day, or they stay in a local hotel, or they rent a cottage. Airbnb is really popular with Big Retreat as well. So we've definitely seen a rise in glamping bookings. I think our glamping area has quadrupled in size this year, which is huge, and camper vans as well. So yeah, I think camping is definitely, I'd probably say, less popular than glamping and motorhomes. It's definitely, it's definitely shifted over the last few years, and I think just because of our demographic that we have at the festival, we still have thousands of people that camp, but yeah, glamping is getting more and more popular, and bringing a van along is getting more popular.
See, I've always loved camping, but so that's never been on my list of issues about going to a festival. Even the weather, I'm okay with the weather, but since I've had my camper van, oh my goodness me, it is a different level. And
Yeah,
the
it
first
changes the
oh
experience.
god, and the first festival I actually was trying to think. It might have been your festival. Might have been the first. Anyway, it was one of the first festivals I did in the van, and the very first night I was like, oh my god, what did I do all these years and exposing my poor children to walking all that way with all their camping stuff and putting up the tent. And one year in Latitude it blew over, and oh my goodness me, why didn't I have the camper van then? I felt like a really bad parent. So if anyone's thinking of getting a camper van, oh, it is glamping. It's just it is amazing being in a camper van at a festival.
Yeah, and you can
I
rent
love it.
them, can't you? You can just
Yeah,
rent a camper van for the weekend as well, which is
yeah,
great.
yeah. And the other thing, so your podcast is coming out just after a podcast I do about day raving with Adele, and she
Excellent.
actually is at a festival at the same site. So we did it. It's called Timescape. It was at the same site last year in Cambridgeshire,
Yeah,
and is on in August. So I'm going to be at that site twice this year at different festivals, obviously with you and also with
cool.
Timescape. And I can absolutely vouch. It is a lovely place, and being in the
Mm.
woods and experiencing all these wonderful practices is it's absolutely my happy place. So I'm so excited about this summer with those two festivals at the top of my list, obviously in Wales as well. So you're in the top, you're
Yeah.
twice in the top three. And Timescape in there as well. Oh, and
Excellent.
Wildwood. Oh my god, I better say Wildwood, otherwise my dear friend Vicky's going to get very upset when I say top four. That's my top four festivals. Actually, all of the festivals are great. Oh my goodness me, I'm rambling now.
They're all
But
amazing.
they're amazing. So, any doubts? This is a win-win. You've got music, talks, all these wonderful events that are it's just going to be brilliant at the Big Retreat, whether you come to Wales. Obviously, Wales, we've got wonderful place for wild swimming, which was absolutely glorious. But yeah, if Cambridge is nearer, it is a long drive. So I live near Cambridge. I think most people probably know that. But so for me, it's just down the road. But I will be at both. It
Yeah.
will be amazing. I think this is a very hard question I'm going to ask next. And
Oh no.
obviously, you don't want to upset anyone, but are there any events or guests that you're most excited about that are coming to either of the events, Cambridge or Wales?
Oh, I think it's a mix of everything. I love meeting new people, you know that. I love all these amazing people that we bring to Pembrokeshire. I love the fact my kids can see all these incredible people that are out there doing amazing things. So I'm most excited about the whole mix
Yeah.
of the speakers, the music in the evening. Do you know, I love watching at night time, just standing back. My friend made me do it a few years ago. He said, look, stand back and just look at everybody's faces. Look at what you've created. And like, watch the smiles and the joy on people's faces. That's what I get most excited about. And then actually, even afterwards, when you get the messages afterwards that it's changed people's lives and it's been transformational, that is what I find most exciting about the big retreat.
I'm getting a bit emotional. I hardly ever cry, but if I cry on the blooming podcast. Oh goodness me, Amber! I'm getting a bit emotional. I'm just having flashbacks to last year, and yeah, I really didn't want to leave. I am coming earlier and leaving later this year, just for both of them, just to warn you.
Yeah, and do you know, I think some people cry they don't want to leave. There's
Yeah.
something so magical about the weekend, about the space, and like honestly, people do cry. They don't want to go home. They just want to just stay because they think they've just had the biggest cutch ever in Wales.
Yeah, and
we're going to do the same in Cambridgeshire.
As I said, if you're feeling that you really need to work on your resetting and clearing yourself mentally and physically, and you're curious about ways you could do this, but you're not really sure where to go, which is exactly who my book's for as well, actually. Come along to either Pembrokeshire or Cambridgeshire and join us this year. And I'll be very, you're going to have a great time. I'm just going to say it. I'd be shocked if anyone didn't come away feeling great. But come and find myself and Amber. Come and say hello. Give me a hug for sure. Anyone can give me a hug. And don't worry about coming solo. Absolutely fine. And you can just come for the day if you're not feeling too confident. I know that that lack of confidence is a real issue for lots of people. And I think your story about the 70-year-old lady, it was the first ever festival, absolutely brilliant. If you've remotely been thinking about this, please come. Even if you just come for the day, come and join us, and come and tell me if you find me. Tell me what you've loved. Tell me and Amber what you've loved the most, because we're not doing the study again this year, but we just love to hear what's really got to people and that they've really felt passionate about. Any last thoughts on that,
I had
Amber?
another lady that was older as well, that was in her 70s, and she is now teaching at the festival. So she came for the first time, and I think she came for a couple of years just to enjoy it. And then she went off and did some yoga courses, and she's now come back and teaching at the festival. So I think that's another amazing story.
Love it.
We have quite a few people that come back, actually, that have come to the festival and they've gone off and learnt something, and then they come back and teach it at the festival, which I think is phenomenal. I think that's
brilliant.
Incredible.
And I know you've got lots of stories, because we talk quite a lot, and you've always got so many brilliant stories. And I don't know whether we're going to do it at Wales and in Pembrokeshire and Cambridgeshire, but I hope that we will do some sessions to tell people a little bit more about what we found in the research. And the paper's been submitted, so we're hoping that it will be published. It always takes some time. That's the way that these scientific papers work. But we're hoping it'll be out soon. But certainly at the festivals, we can share and give people some ideas about where they might want to explore during their time at the festival. Right, so our last questions, Amber, that I ask all my guests, and I can't wait to see what you're going to say. Amber, what makes you happy, and where is your happy place?
What makes me happy? Do you know what makes me happy is watching everyone at the festival being happy. That gives me a huge amount of joy. Is when I actually get the time and take time to stand and just watch everyone. And I love people watching at the festival. Just the joy on people's faces. I get a massive happiness buzz out of that, if I'm honest. I love being by the estuary. I love going for walks. I love my morning walk. Bit of gratitude as you get outside and listen to the birds singing. I love all that kind of thing. I think I'm much more in touch with that over the years. You forget actually how amazing it is just to be out in nature. I'm very lucky that we live in Pembrokeshire. and I get to see that view every single day. The castle site for me is just one of the most stunning locations ever. So I would definitely say that's my happy place. I love, if I'm feeling a bit flat, going to sit up there and just looking out at the view, and you just remember all the possibilities. So I would say the castle site very much is my happy place. My home is my happy place with my family and my kids, my husband, and just it's a real sense of the village is a real sense of community. It's a lovely place to stay, Lorraine. Yeah, we've got some amazing friends here, so it's a real. I love going away. Don't get me wrong. I love going into London and going to different events, but I really love coming home. So I would
Yeah.
say that is my happy place. Sea air, music, watching people light up. That's my happiness. Connection.
Fantastic. And you just made me think of another question, actually. Are you running any other more traditional types of retreats in between? I mean, organising the Big Retreat Festival, I know from discussing it with you, it's such a huge task to do. I mean, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you did it. Are you actually running any other types of retreats in between?
No, we're not this year. I think because we're doing Cambridgeshire as well.
Yeah.
We have got a few people from the festival because we have got a retreat centre on site. So our little retreat is our accommodation business. It's a beautiful little. It's got glamping domes and it's in the lower walled garden of the old castle site, and it's absolutely beautiful. But you can just come and stay and come on holiday here now. So yeah, we have a few presenters. The amazing Lou Featherstone is coming to do a retreat with us.
Great.
So yeah, if people are looking for a retreat space, they can come and hold it with us. But I just don't have the capacity. I mean, I love teaching. I miss teaching, but I don't have the capacity at the moment with Cambridgeshire as well. But it's something that we definitely look at doing in the future again.
Yeah, no, it's good that they can come and rent that space out if they want to run a retreat like
Yeah.
Lou's doing. So that's amazing. I'm glad we got that
Yeah.
in, actually. And my very, very final question, Amber, what advice would you give your younger self? And some people say something specific to them, but some people just say something towards younger people.
Don't wait for permission. Just do stuff. Trust your own instinct and build things that really matter. Have a purpose. Build things that matter, because it makes such a difference, I think, to your own well-being and the well-being of lots of people around you.
That is a beautiful way to finish. And Amber, on behalf of everyone that attends the festival, I just want to thank you, because I know it is such a huge job to do this. It really, really is. And on behalf of everybody, all the presenters and the teachers and everyone that attends, thank you so much, because it's really a special, special festival. And I'm so looking forward to this year. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again, obviously, and meeting some wonderful people at the Big Retreat Festival. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.